It's funny, I got the same thing that you just got.
Monterey at 572 yesterday. This was our winning gas during 6 weeks earlier this year. This car has been in the 880s in the quarter mile.
That's strange.
All right. We're live.
We are.
We are live. Okay. Listen to this. Beautiful. Amazing. I'm probably way too loud, but that's just going to be how it goes.
No, you sound great, man.
Okay, so, hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Tech Tuesday. I am bouncing around, but you know me, my name's Ben. I'm joined in the office by somebody that you like to know.
I am Tim.
He is Tim. He is here. I will mute myself so that it's not that loud all the time. But you guys can kind of see some of the action that's going on here at Six Smokies. But we felt like it was important to make sure that you guys can see us here doing things as we normally do. So here we go. We popped up a computer here in Nashville. We're at Music City. And Tim's still doing his thing back at the office, but we're doing Tech Tuesday for you. Tim, before we jump into everything here, do you have any questions, quibbles, thoughts, statements, fashion statement tips before we begin? We will do live comments, and we will also go back and do comments from the last Tech Tuesday.
Well, I don't really have any direct ones. I can see your audio settings on your computer on the live thing.
That's fine. They can see that. I only have one screen.
Oh, now I see.
I have one screen. So
you have one screen?
So,
oh my God, dude, you are suffering, sir.
Yeah, so I can't see both. So it is what it is.
Here.
People can just deal with the fact that they can see OBS and other things. So anyway, fashion statement tips. Go for it.
All right. So anyway, we're gonna go back while we get some live comments going on here. Let's see. Let me get into this here. So on our last episode of Tech Tuesday, episode 95, we had some really good questions, and I'm glad we're starting to get a lot more questions in here because I love good technical questions. I love interacting with people. If you ever met me at a show, which, you know, I'm not at a show currently, that's what Ben's doing over here with his headphones, looking cool, looking at drag cars and stuff. But yeah, so I love it. You know, I'm the same guy in person, on camera, whatever. I'm just the same guy, but I love technical stuff. So bombard me with technical questions. I love it. I'm going to go and start reading some straight from our last episode.
Okay.
Let's see if we got any first.
I'm going to stop you just for a second. Do you want me to monitor live and then you do old comments, or do we want to switch back and forth? Okay. I'll go over to live comments, and then Tim, you can start going through some of these from the old the last Tech Tuesday. Which, if we don't get to all of them, how awesome is that? If we don't get to all of them, we will go and get to them in our next Tech Tuesday. So if you don't get answered today, don't worry about it. So.
All right. So. Question number one, we got Citation Monkey. True story, custom doesn't usually come with a warranty, but I can void them for sure. Now, I also void warranties on a regular basis as well, but it's all in the scope of how you do it. Let's see what we got here. I've got about 1,000 miles on a 7+1 distributor, modified to run a Caddy V8 and it uses wild with a high roller and it runs great. You guys do a good show. I appreciate the banter. We have a plenty of banter, but luckily it's technological banter for us and for you, the people. That's what we do it for. But I think Citation Monkey would always appreciate the good support and solid questions you're being posted for us here. Next one up, No Garage Guy. Ben, you got Dodge on the brain. Apparently, no garage guy is a Ford guy. It's a 72 Mercury Comet. I think you need an affordable dad rod.
Agreed.
Room for future family, mansion and groceries, Dodge Magnum wagon. All the creature comfort sounds and looks great too. Now, I agree with that, I do, but I think Ben, no diamonds. Go with the CTSV wagon and a hog of a can. That way, it moves all the leaves out the way down the driveway. Saves you on a leaf blade. Buy a bigger can.
They're saying
Um, so
they're saying they
let's
can't
see.
hear you, Tim. Can you?
You can't hear me?
Can you? Oh, well, yeah. Sorry. When they're racing, they can't hear you. So I've got a guy telling me whether or not. We're just gonna, from now on, we're just gonna watch Six Smokies. I hope that's fine. No.
No, I guess
When
we're
they're
watching Dragon Ball.
Yeah, no. When they're racing, they can't hear you. So I just have to make sure I'm muted at all times. So
Ah, okay.
yeah. Anyway, as you were.
Ezra Dixon 239. Damn, I missed live. Well, we're live. So hope to see you here.
Yeah,
Is Ezra in the comments yet?
I don't know. We have right now. We have Conic Central Gaming says howdy, gentlemen. William Berg says Aces Fuel Injection for the people. Ben Tim, what's up, guys? What's up? Glad you guys are here. Got any updates on the HEI distributor? That's a good question. That's coming from Conic Central Gaming on the live chat. I will leave that one to Tim, but I will answer no garage guys question or statement. I do love me some good Mopars. When I talked to Tim about it and looking into getting my first project car, and I will, rest assured, as soon as we finalize our house, that will be something I'm seriously looking into doing. But I don't have Mopar money, and as many of these guys who have been in the industry for a long time, and I'm sure many of you guys know as well, jumping into the industry feet first in a Mopar build is not exactly the wisest of financial decisions. But who cares? Who cares about financial decisions? But anyway, I just wanted to address that. There you go, Tim.
Yeah, so anyways, the HEI thing. I have pushed that question up. I haven't gotten any traction on it yet, but it is not out of question as it goes because we're always looking for new products to add on. If we do find a good quality a good quality manufacturer, but mainly focused on quality, because we can just go snap our fingers and purchase a bunch of these things and sell them, but we want to make sure they're good. So we'll get some samples. We'll do a thing. If they want to move forward with it, we'll do obviously host the testing, and then all of a sudden you guys have this brand new product, and Ben gets to make some graphics, and we get to do a video, and it's going to be great. But we'll see how much traction we get on it. I just kind of actually just laid out the whole generally how it works. You come up with an idea. I got to look into it. We got to purchase the thing, do some testing, make it a product, and then send it out to the masses. So, but quality is the big key here. A lot of manufacturers. But then again, you put them all in your hand, you only got one or two that's going to be like, this is the one we're going to go with because of many reasons. So hopefully we see that because I like HEI distributors as well. Timing control is cool, but sympathy. Just set it up once, don't mess with it, send it.
I just realized that if I don't have it muted in OBS, they still hear all of this. You just can't hear it. So that's what was going on in that. So now I will be muted from their perspective. They don't have to, they can hear you talk and go from there. But yes, also, I'll let you speak on this more. If we're going to talk about, new products and the HEI distributor and things like that, you should also take a moment to talk about what's about to be released, especially with regards to a question that was asked actually relatively recently about some kind of can thingamabobber. If you're allowed to talk about that, then what's it doing? I just totally threw that out there. If I'm not allowed to, who cares? So there you go.
Well, I can squeeze into that a little bit. Basically, we are expanding and developing more into our CAN system itself, our CAN network itself. So you guys are going to see a huge push into that realm of existence, allowing for more peripheral devices and such. I can't give you all the details, obviously, but maybe if you're at SEMA, maybe if you're not at SEMA, we'll see.
But we're working
hard on it.
you know that's a real thing because I just totally threw that on the spot, and you saw his reaction when I said it. So this is live. If people are questioning that, it is in fact live. Anyway, as you were, Tim, as you're reading.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how much trouble Ben's trying to get me in that's going to generate an email later and be like, Tim, do not do this. But hey, I roll the dice on a regular basis and do the best I can. So sometimes a thing slips out. But I have never been known to put anything special in the background of a video to show future products. Actually, I do that. So maybe when you watch our videos here, you should always pay attention to what's in the background because there's always something spicy in just about every one of them. Because we're filming in a test area after all. Let's see what we got here. Next one, Car Camp. What it do, baby? Keep doing it for the people, and I'm keeping a better eye on the install at 1 a.m. after working all day. Yeah, that's it. Best bit of advice I can give on the 1 a.m. installs is if it comes down to turning the key to crank the motor, don't crank the motor. Come back to it the next day and eyeball everything. 100% of the time I find something I missed because I was tired or anxious or just I couldn't wait to hear that thing start up. It is always good to wait those 1 a.m. days, and adult beverages from the refrigerator in the garage as well sometimes clouds your judgment for certain things. True. Let's see what we got here next.
Some of these live questions as they
do
come
it
too.
It's Benjamin's turn. Tag,
okay,
you're it.
All right, William Berg, Aces for the People. I'm happy to be one of them. Hey brother, thank you. I see William posts all the time. I just want to take a second and give you a shout out. We see you, dude. Thank you. So let's see, he says 2 great Chevy 4x4 builds running awesome Killshot 1 kits with the quick draws, distributor coil PDMs, and has all the merch. Perfect. Awesome. Samuel Grimes, I just had a stroke. Samuel Grindstaff, where does one zero out the TPS on the tuning software for the Jackpot ECU? I know how to do it in the handheld. I don't know how to do it in the advanced tuning software. Tim, that's a you thing, and I'll keep going after you're done.
Is it a me thing? Which system?
The Jackpot. I'm just gonna have this down here.
System.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Okay, as he's going, Night Wrencher says, I'll be at SEMA. Thank you for joining us, Night Wrencher. Look how professional this is. No, I'm just kidding. Oh boy. Now this is cool. That is awesome. That is awesome. Okay. Night Wrencher, good to see you. Matthew Forsberg. Let him. Okay, Tim, you go.
All right. So here we go. We got Killshot. We got Jackpot. Let's just go ahead and get this going on here. So in here, we got the settings. Can you see it clearly, Benjamin? Are you still with me, Ben? Oh, okay. Force TPS 0 learn right here. So it's under the gear icon, configuration item in the software, and go over here to Force TPS 0 learn. Click that. Make sure throttle's closed, engine not started. I've done it with the engine started. But anyways, there'll be a little icon right here that'll be right to ECU up here. This one's up here for the whole thing, but the one for this particular menu will be down here in this area if it was connected to an ECU. But basically, yeah, you can just click right to ECU, zeroes it out. So I'll do it at idle. I won't do it running down the road or anything silly like that. But I normally do it like whenever I'm just plugging in, I haven't started an engine yet. I'll make a trip over here, go ahead and zero it out so I can get ahead of myself. Whenever I actually start the tuning process, sometimes you're right on the edge of that threshold, and it'll do some funny stuff. So does that help?
Let me bring myself back here just real quick. Matthew Forsberg, sweet bridge device for us DIYers, question mark. Making my own 12.3 inch gauge display and was hoping to pull data from the ACES system to fill the digital gauges and logging. I don't even know what that was. That was just awesome.
So for gateway modules in the future, we may have that option as we enhance further into our CAN network and make it more publicly available. But for the time being, you'll see very specific aftermarket companies that will share CAN data with us, and that's legal stuff at that point. But when it comes into OEM versus our stuff being aftermarket, sometimes it's hard to bridge that connection without making all the paperwork is correct. Because some car manufacturers just don't want you to touch it, even though us nerds of the world can plug a laptop in and get out our favorite scanner and do a few funny things and then figure out the math from there. But actually, a lot of people do that. I just think it's entertaining. I love CAN stuff. But well, you may see a gateway module down the road. I know it's briefly been talked about in some of my upper management talks, but we're just not there yet because we are pushing out different displays and working with a few other display manufacturers here and there to make sure that we're treating the customer correctly and not just being super selfish when it comes to our data. We just have to be selective currently.
Nah, I say we just maintain non-selectivity about anything and just throw proprietorship out the window. But what do I know? I'm just kidding. That's a terrible idea.
Ben says send it.
Yeah, I love that idea. No, but transparency is key. I hope that's one of the things people get out of this anyway. Yeah. There's a lot more cool stuff than just CAN network stuff down the road. I already see some things like William Berg talking about more CAN products is awesome to hear. Waiting on dual kill shot twos for my 871. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. So yes, completely understand. There are a lot of other cool things that are, I guess we're not allowed to talk about it, but you can see very soon. That's all I'm going to say. And they can yell.
Yeah, that's why you guys can see the rest of my office.
Who cares? Yeah, exactly.
Some of these things will go out. Some of these things won't go out. Yes. I don't want to get anybody.
There is one thing actually in your office if you turned your camera around, but
Which one?
On the shelf over there. Why are we doing this to them? This is terrible.
Which thing?
I can't.
That thing.
Nah, you are so ridiculous.
That's cool though.
You're just fishing.
It looks really nice in my office.
You're just fishing. Okay. Anyway, Samuel says thank you, Samuel. Brent Warlick says, hey Tim and Ben, newbie here. Bro, welcome. Just completed an Aces wild card and first run last Sunday afternoon. Congratulations, man. Working through a low idle at 500 RPM or so. Should I adjust the idle screw on the throttle body? ? This is on the live. This isn't on the old chat.
On an old chat.
Or not on an old chat. It's on live rather.
If you got a bit of low idle on the wild card, your timing may be a little bit off, or you may be a little bit too fuely, a little bit of extra fuel. What you really need to look at for the low idle is your IAC value very high, idle low, and timing a very strange value. It should be hanging out around 15 or so, depending on your idle. It could be a situation where the timing is off and it's trying to correct itself and creating a low idle. Or if it's too much fuel, it'll try to advance the idle, add a whole bunch of IAC, and then you'll have a very strange pulse width going on with a low idle. So I would verify timing because it's the most common thing that happens. And then I'd have a look at your fuel to make sure it's not too fuely. Clear out your learn table 0, your TPS, turn off learning, get the vehicle started up, and kind of read what the AFR data is telling you. If it's too rich, obviously get into the fuel table offset and bring 10 or 15% out of it and see if that improves your idle characteristics. That's my general approach.
Thank you, Professor Tim. Okay.
I wore my pretty shirt for this.
I know. I tried to do similar. We always do. Okay, I'll try to go through these rapid fire just to go through them. William Berg, my builds both have full Windows 11 computers with touch screens to tune live, no fighting with the laptop. Come on, Tim, let the cats out of the bag. And Bryant Stillwell says, "Good afternoon, fellas. Just stopping in to say hi in the middle of a remote tune." Look at that. Tim showed them why it's important to use quality fuel lines. He also says, "I'll come back and watch it later." And Brent says, "Roger that. I will go back to set timing again to be sure." Thank you very much. That's it. That's live. So if you leave a live comment anymore, we're not going to read it. I'm just kidding. But I'll let Tim
Big
get
shout
back
out to
the
Ron
news.
Stillwell and his wife for sending me the care package that I've distributed throughout the office.
He did do
I haven't
that.
gotten it from HR yet, but we'll see what happens.
HR was
I would show you
happy.
my poster, but I
What?
can't show you my poster.
I was going to say, HR was happy to see those things. What are you talking about? But yeah.
We'll see. I'll get one. I got more
Yep.
over here.
Yep.
Let's see. Car Candy 05. Hopefully installing this jackpot soon. I understand you recommend running power directly to battery. My set requires battery disconnect. What's the best to wire this? I do it on the ground side. Ground side's a little bit safer in a few ways. The positive side is not as safe due to like transient voltage spikes. I would use a setup with like 2 different contacts on it. Ben's doing things, I can hear him. But anyways, make sure it's like the main power runs through one side of the circuit, and then on the actual disconnect itself, that it's kind of its own little isolated thing. That way there's not a huge accumulation of voltage that can fly back through the system or be a transient voltage as it goes. So you want to kind of keep it separate. And those switches do cost a few extra bucks. But there's like single pole, dual pole, all that stuff. I'd go with more than one, if that helps. Let's see. Josh, 1776 PAW. Let's see. Thanks again. Maybe I should have clarified that location, certified that location as state troopers and road construction barrels, aka Knoxville. That's correct. Yes, E85 for fuel, 5.3 78mm turbo for boost. Want to run a Snow Performance standalone meth injection trigger at a specific boost point to lower IATs, and is hoping to control it through your unit instead of using the Snow controller. Thanks again for the people. Now, so our system doesn't allow that capability just yet, but we do hope to see as we develop our firmware, software, and capabilities, pushing out into bigger, more robust systems as it goes, to set up situational triggers. If this map, if this RPM, if this boost, things where you say, okay, activate ground trigger, turn on other thing. And then we're not far off from that. Those are heavy conversations that we've had over the last few months about the customizable IOs that we're leaning towards. So there's going to actually be a shocking amount of that coming out over the next year or so. We're just dedicated to making sure we're doing it the best way possible without because we can just, like I said, we can push stuff out. We're more interested in the quality so that we sell a thing, we can support the thing, we can supply information for things, and when we on the phone with all kinds of wild stuff going on about, I didn't understand. We want to have a lot of information for what you got any more in there, Ben?
I do. Sorry. We got Barry Fleming. Does the new Fusion system do better at controlling timing than the Killshot and Killshot 2? I would imagine not. I'd imagine it's
same strategy.
Yeah.
Obviously, Killshot 2 had more strategy, more processor speed, a little bit. Fusion itself does a good job because it's all built on the same controller as it goes. Now we have updated strategies to improve everything from idle characteristics and the little bit that the timing jump arounds, that the cam versus crank and timing chain and everything has a bit of slack. It's just that ours is very reactive to that and reads it quicker than most things. But yeah, you should be using about the same. And yeah, if you want to expand on that a little bit more, I'm happy to answer that. but are you experiencing an issue or is there a concern? That's my big question.
Yep. Absolutely.
Let's see,
Sorry.
William Berg.
Yeah.
In got Oaks.
No, definitely not. Brent Warlick, one more, guys, if I may, and you may. Where is
Yeah.
the best place to terminate the vacuum hose for the brake booster, throttle body, or back of the intake, or doesn't matter? 1967 C10 with aftermarket brake booster, and he's running the water.
Intake all day. It has more volume. You'll find some strange stuff if you hook it directly to like a throttle body, depending on the throttle body and how it's set up, because it's more of a momentary thing. With the intake itself, it has a lot more volume, so it's not so sensitive to the changes. It's more of a draw type situation. So hope that helps.
I'd say back to your questions there, Chief.
I'm getting switched over as we speak.
I know.
Let's see, KBP 235. Just trying my luck here. I reached out to Aces, Dominic T, but his message was that he couldn't help. I have a kill shot too with a 5-inch screen and making a custom dashboard for it. What future? I want to future-proof it. So if I want to upgrade to a 7-inch in the future, can I just swap it out without making a new dashboard? But I'd like some physical measurements of a 7-inch handheld screen. Can anyone help? I believe those measurements are on the product page. I'll have to double check, but those are available. You can also send a message to like tech support or something like that and just ask for the general dimensions of the 7-inch screen, and they should be able to accommodate you. That is information that's been supplied to them. So, and if not, they'll be able to reach out to me directly and ask for that, and one of my guys or myself will send them that information. So I hope that helps. David Daniel, 1980. Hey guys again. So I'll hopefully be sending my ECM off to tech support and gets back to me. Facepalm. Anyways, you've seen it live. I did it. Does the PDM put a cushion for the HEI module from burning out the input of the ECM when it goes out? If not, obviously, I'd like to get mine away from the HEI. Would you suggest a high roller package or just simply getting the blackjack with a coil? I have a simple 350 with a cam matched with a Killshot 1 and 5-inch display. I could use a crispy digital Hall effect. Oh, you can definitely do that. Would you suggest? Thanks again, Tim. I like Hall effect stuff. It makes a really lovely signal. I like looking at it on my O-scope. It's fun. If you're going to do anything special with that V8 later, I would highly recommend going ahead and spending the money for the High Roller Pro package and just wiring that thing in appropriately. You're going to have plenty of energy. It's going to take a little bit of space on the back of your motor, and it looks cool. But if you get the Pro, you can do a whole lot of setup for adjustments. So if you put a 100-plate nitrous on top of it, there's a timing retard function in there. If you don't want to do all the complicated timing control, you can go in there and mechanically lock it out, set up total timing, then step the table back however you like. If you want more on that, I did do an install on Stanky Bins. The Mercedes is on some really nice air rod. That's a Lucky Chucky's car, but it has a Deuces Wild with the high roller. And we did some real custom stuff on that. But setting up that table was very easy. I don't remember if I did that on Ace's channel or my personal one. Either way, it's out there for everybody to use. Hope that helps.
Yep. Agreed. I'm going to take back over just for a second because we got a lot.
Fine.
Okay. Matthew Fonsberg. I'm having an issue with my Killshot Fusion and Blackjack distributor on my 351C. The timing won't stay steady when locked it at 15 degrees on the handheld. Is the distributor locked out? Timing light shows it's jumping around, holds 15 for a bit, drops back to 5, 10 degrees, then jumps back. Already updated the firmware and tried multiple resets. I'm assuming that's distributor, right? I don't know.
Yeah, on the distributor itself, if you're using a magnetic one, make sure whenever you've done the lockout procedure on that you've reinstalled the nut and cinched it to the actual plate and center shaft. So it may actually be in there and just moving slightly independent. Look how dirty my nails are. I've been working today. But it may be wiggling back and forth a little bit, 5 or 10 degrees. I've seen that with a few things depending on age of the camshaft and how much wear it has. But also tightening that up tightens up that window that it allows it to move around a little bit.
Yep.
So give that a shot. Have a peek at it. Also, you'll see that with like healthy camshaft stuff or oddball firing situations.
Yeah, I would say that. He goes on to say, when I swap my MSG distributor back in, everything runs perfect. So it seems like something is up with my ACES components. Any ideas? So yeah, I would definitely say it's the distributor, and I'd ask if the distributor itself, weights, springs, all of that has been locked out as it should. Tim had a video on it, but we have to do another one for ACES. Like, we have to make an ACES one. So maybe that's something we do.
We keep recording all my good videos and getting them taken down. I was like, it's just car stuff.
No, it's true. Brent says, you guys are the best. Appreciate real-time support. Absolutely. William Berg, no brake booster for him. He upgraded both of his Chevys 4x4 to Hydro Boost. That's sick.
Oh man, that's it.
Yeah. Barry Fleming, Tim, you just mentioned timing chain slack. Made me think I'm running noisy timing gears. Would that cause issues as to why the timing jumped so much? Had to go back with the HEI. I don't know. I'll let you answer that one.
It can. If you got a sloppy timing chain or whooped out gears, you may run into that. I have personally ran into that. My Tahoe, which everybody has seen at this point, it has many, many miles on it, and I do not treat it very nicely. But it's time for a timing chain update in that, because of the fact that you could stab a distributor in there, and yeah, it's got some wiggle. And it's not the gear to cam. It's literally, you can hear the chain up front kind of going chink, chink, and I need to fix that before it fixes me. Really inconvenient for the afternoon, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I know. I got one more. This is from Infinity504 $. What can I do for speedometer LS swap G35 with an ACES jackpot? Yeah.
The ACES jackpot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'd say we can't just hook up regular speedo for us. Why would that not work?
Well, there's a good chance that he has a different transmission there with no speedometer power system.
Do we have
what
GPS?
I mean?
Do we still have GPS stuff?
There should be still GPS in the handheld, but if he's actually, because of the car, I suspect he may be tracking it or drifting it. I suspect, which is awesome, and I like that. You may have to, let's see, you may have to actually find the VSS input wire. It's blue 20-gauge wire. Comes off the sub harness, and hook that into a speed sensor and see if it's going to pick up speed appropriately. We had set the system up to, even if it's non-trans control, it'll still pick up vehicle speed, just for manual gearboxes and such, that should be able to be displayed on the screen itself.
He says 4L60E.
It should show.
Yeah, it should show.
Yeah, you might have to update the firmware, because I suspect you're using a 5-inch. But yeah, the vehicle speed's in there. If it's 4L60E and it's running fine,
yeah,
just go into. I wish I had a handheld here.
Yeah.
I don't have a handheld in this office.
These are old handhelds because we sent everything to SEMA. Hold on.
That one, but I got no means of powering one up.
Hold on.
Ben's on the case. Don't worry, he's gonna play with something here. This is great. Also, what's y'all's vote on me doing like more stuff with the tuning software like this? Does that help any?
The Camaro has one, but I don't want to move the computer and all that all the way out there.
Oh, look at that! I turned into software, Ben.
Look at that, magic. Nice. Yeah. Did you say, I don't know because I walked away, did you say you change it in the handheld? There's a little swirly icon at the top right of the 5-inch handheld next to the 4 dots, and you can change it out in there. You can also do it in home display when you go into the settings. So you hit the 4 dots and you go to monitors. You can change it in there too.
Car Camp, he just responded to my thing of throwing the software. But he also said, sorry, late to the party. Keep up the great work for the people. Is the LS test done back up and running again? We have to overhaul that engine. So we took it, it broke on us, just ate itself up. We took it apart, identified what it needed. We ordered the bearings, got it in last Friday. We are actually banging the bearings into it tomorrow and should have it back up. We should have it back up and running this week. If it looks like that's going to be delayed any before the end of this week running, I'll just bring one of my personal vehicles here and we'll just do some testing that. That's a contingency. But yeah, realistically, we broke it and we're fixing it and we're actually really close. We've got everything sorted out with it. Literally just need to reassemble it. And that's what I do for one of my main hobbies is build those things. So it ought to go pretty smooth and quick. We've got everything gauged out. Literally got to put new cam bearings in it and back together it goes. Rings are gapped, bearings are good. Replace some bearings. Got a new timing chain update for it. Hashtag timing chain life. And I'm going to put a big old fat camshaft in it from BTR and some 660 valve springs as well. So I'm going to set it up for the most mild build engine that we all do as car enthusiasts and try to build out that map the best I can. And because most people sending stuff in isn't on a stock motor. Most people sending stuff in is on a big old hog BTR truck Norris cam. We got a red hot cam and a few others back there that I'll be using for other calibrations. But yeah, that's what we're doing with that. We're just setting it up just like what you the people got. That way, when it comes into valid testing, it's like, oh yeah, this thing's fat. So.
Yes. Okay. So run through this real quick. Infinity. Well, I don't even know if this is possible. I don't think it is. He says 5-inch handheld. Should I Bluetooth to my Tesla screen? Is that possible? I don't think it is. I don't know what network that's on or how. I don't think that's a thing. I've never seen anybody hook it. Well, actually, that's not true because some of the not aftermarket, but some of those monitors for inside the car run on Android. Mm-hmm. So those will work, but a Tesla I don't think is going to work.
Tesla.
Let me just I'm just gonna try and show this to you.
Yeah, he does make Matthew Forsberg. He's mentioned about me in my video, and I didn't put the nut back on.
Yeah, I saw that.
One of the videos I did not, and I did have that timing wandering around. The other video I did that in, I did. And I didn't mention because I had to put a little washer underneath of it because the shank of that stud sticking through wouldn't allow the nut to tighten down all the way. I also did it on I think it was an MSD distributor as well. I did on that S10 product I did. But yeah, there's one video where I did not do it, and I just never mentioned it. I'm like, hey, it makes my timing wander a little bit, and I hate it.
All right.
And then we have been doing stuff.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. This is not a quick draw.
He felt like he needed to because I got the software add on.
Yeah, so this is an older handheld, and it's an older version of the software. So you could move from RPM to miles per hour through here. But what you can do now, there should be, in the newer software, there should be a button here that allows you to open up the interface and change it out here. But if you're still rocking an older version of the software, you can go to... let's see, I'm messing this up, home setup, and you can change it out here. So like you could change this to vehicle speed source select, enter, we're going to say from GPS, save. And so in theory, you would bring it back to this and you would have miles per hour here if you set it up that way in the newer handheld. So if you're not seeing it, you just have to change it to show it. And it's also on the newer handhelds, it may also just show TAC RPM here with miles per hour on the bottom as well. So you may have to switch that out too. But that all can be done from that home setup. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. See, car camp patiently waiting on my burnt harness and busted ECU to be looked over. Um, yeah, yeah, we should be testing that soon. We've set priority on everything back there, so as soon as that thing cranks up, we're gonna crank it up on someone's system. We're not gonna put ours on there. We're just gonna start it up and adjust accordingly, and just cycle through everybody's and really make it a priority because we're really caught up on everything else. Just we're stuck on jackpot for like a minute. It seems to happen about every 2 years. We destroy that engine and then overhaul the thing and then put it back online and then just start it 20, 30 times a day for different applications and reasons. And it goes through it. I mean, we really put that thing through it. And that's what happened is it just finally had enough and decided to grab a hold of a bearing and spin a bearing around and it made a funny noise. So instead of it letting it do that for a while, we just stopped. But let's see what we got here. William Berg, Matthew, I think the thread on the distributor 4 or 5 millimeters. I think you're right. I can't remember. I did actually measure that once. Car camp for the people. I 100% agree with you with that. That's the only reason I even do any of this stuff. I mean, I'm an aviation nerd in my heart and everything, but it comes down to like, why am I even doing this? Like for the people, man. You know, I got a technical background. I got the drive to be here, and I really want to support the community the best I can. So that's it. I love this car community. That's why I'm even getting into this. Ben keeps checking the time on his thing. Let's see what we got here. So, hello, a Royal Flush. Oh, say no, Pete Vignotti. I think I got that wrong. But hello, I have a Royal Flush master kit and just got everything installed. My issue is I got some fuel dripping out the side of the TPS. Is this a normal issue? It is a normal issue if you got too much fuel. So what you may be doing, it could be a low RPM and a whole bunch of fuel going on, pulls up on top of the plates. That's not a sealed shaft, it's on needle bearings. And it could just be running literally right out the end of the shaft and dripping out because right at the end of the TPS is the other end of the throttle shaft. So what we're running into on that is if you make sure you're not over fueling it, and also make sure all your injectors are firing at kind of the same rate. Make sure there's not one just hogging fuel for some reason, like a pinched wire or something silly like that. But take some fuel out of it, go to your fuel table offset, knock some out of there, look at your AFRs, make sure that's all good. I did put out some guides on some basic tuning. Those for kill shot, but they'll translate the Royal Flush with no issue. Let's see, William Berg, Ben, check out that Aces booth you're at. Nice. Yeah, let's see it. Not too bad, not too bad. Oh, hey, that's what you did with my car? So anyways, I come into work and the big block Camaro is
missing. Don't even with that. Yes. So we did steal the Camaro from R&D. Maybe a little bit prematurely. Carl Smith, got to give him a shout out, had to come give us a battery yesterday. I can only imagine what people were thinking or were letting the Camaro sit out here at a drag and drive like, oh, the fuel injection. Their fuel injection's probably bad, but no, our battery went out. So anyway.
Oh, you just smoked the battery?
Oh, you probably don't know this yet. Look at that. Live action.
Awesome. That's okay. It is what it is, man. We break stuff. I broke a motor. I've destroyed every other battery back there because we start stuff with it 20, 30 times a day. So I got new batteries, and I guess I got another new battery. So I'm very happy about this. It saves me paperwork because that means you had to do it. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. William Berg, Aces for the people. Hey, look, there's a guy. Let's see. Car camp ain't nothing but a thing, my guys. That's facts. Let's see. Car camp. I seen the plane once upon a time. Man, I've built a bunch. I've built some amazing, weird, awesome, not awesome stuff in my day. But you take enough experience from industrial and aerospace and automotive and you put it together and it turns into a 41-year-old nerd with a laptop that does podcasting on Tuesday. Let's see what we got here. Brent Warlick, nice. Brian Stillwell, Pete Bignati. Also, make sure your throttle blades, front and rear, are not fully closed. That's a point. I didn't mention that. You should make sure they're not totally sealed up, because it will pull up some fuel. If it's not consuming enough air and it's got a bit too much fuel, it will pull up a bit and run out the shafts. Ben, you guys just borrowed the camera, right? See, this camera right here, this is my personal camera that hides at my desk in the lock drawer. So you notice it's not at the show. I don't mind, but what's Ben doing over there? Oh, look, there's Daniel. All right, let's see what we got here. Nick Elkton. Started running my Joker recently. Noticed that my IAC stays pretty high, 100 plus at idle. Assuming I just need to crank the idle adjust on the throttle body a bit more. Am I on the right track? Yes, generally that is the right track to adjust the blades a bit to make sure to 0 to TPS. But you also could be running into a funny thing too, where your timing could be a little bit too retarded, or you could have a bit too much fuel making the IAC respond. A little bit too much fuel will make a high IAC. Speaking of which, so I'm glad I'm talking about this. All these things that I'm talking about right here is on my list of normal, like, common issues I see with kill shots. Most of these things are on there. And as Ben gets done with the show, we'll be diving deep into doing more and more diagnostic and troubleshooting videos, as well as tuning videos. So that's literally what I'll be really hardcore focusing on the rest of this year. Building out my R&D, building videos, documents. Everything else is fine. Everything else we find there's other people to do those things. But those are my 3 main priorities. And all of those things translate to me doing more for you. Let's see. Brian Stillwell, Tim just had an HEI on a Killshot 1 showing 5,000 to 6,000 RPMs during cranking on a remote. Obviously wouldn't start. Has this happened yet to yourself? Yes, on my Tahoe when I had that failed HEI module. It was sending such noise on cranking because it was low speed and still trying to read the signal. There's so much noise in that it was actually reading like it might have been more than 10,000 RPMs, but also fueled up my motor pretty good too. That was one of the 2 modules I had fail, but I keep those things in my glove box anyways. But yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that on you key it on and you'll see a little noise. That's usually the first indication you'll get that your HEI module's fixing to pack it up for the afternoon, or leave you at the Circle K at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're just trying to get to your house and the creatures start stirring around the parking lot on you. Pete Bignati, haven't even done the first startup yet. Start dripping as soon as the fuel pressure reaches the unit. Running a return system. Drop as soon as the fuel pressure goes into prime. It could be that's what you got going on. For some reason it's over priming the system. It's verify your fuel pressure is good, but for some reason, if it's enough to drip out of the throttle shafts, make sure it's not copious amounts of fuel just pulling up on top of the shafts themselves. That could be what you're dealing with right there on that. Because I've seen them before with like I've seen firmware hiccups before where we did a bad job in a warehouse updating the firmware, or somebody updated it straight out the box and calls that, or put in some information incorrectly. Either way, try to reflash that firmware, make sure that doesn't go away. If it does behoove you to do so, snap us a video and send it, because one of the R&D guys or tech guys will look at it and be like, here's the solution. And so make sure to do that, and then also snag up a picture of what the handheld looks like too. Generally helps with the diagnostic procedure. If it persists after a good firmware update, make sure to run the wizard, make sure to 0 TPS. Let's see, William Berg. Ben looks like Ben looks like he's selling them Aces products.
Yeah.
Like I think they actually are selling stuff at these shows this time. We didn't used to sell anything at shows, but we got so many people nearly mad about the fact we wouldn't even sell them a T-shirt because we didn't even bring T-shirts at the time. We didn't have T-shirts at the time.
They actually have Aces, so they were just coming to hang out. We gave them a what are they called? Windshield banner. So if you're going to Six Smokies or like just coming at one of the stops, swing by Aces booth, we'll give you a windshield banner.
Yes.
Just because we're awesome. I don't know. Go tell your parents or your friends or something. Anyway, after you.
Let's see. Nick Helpton. FWIW. I'm using a Tunnel Ram Joker. That's a good choice. I like that one. Got to get into it more. I'm chasing an exhaust leak right now, but I also notice I'm getting lean when I rev it up a bit. Get that exhaust leak sorted out. You're probably sucking some air, false reading the sensor. If you get the exhaust leaks fixed and you're still having a bit of a lean on the tip end, you can do. There's some airflow calculations you can do for basically like your speed air eyes, stuff like that. You can also go to acceleration correction versus TPS. You can go to the top of your fuel table on the tuning software and add some fuels where the lean spot is and help populate that as well. You can do map enrichment. That also helps. There's a lean tip-in guide or a tip-in guide that I've created that I'll be updating even better to version 3. I did version 2 and it's okay. Way better than version 1. Version 3 is going to be a banger for sure. Let's see, Jose. Let's see, I'm having issues with my fan 1 not outputting a ground signal. The handheld is showing ECU outputting the signal, but there's no ground on the wire. Fan 2 works as it should. Thought. Make sure you're testing that with it running. If it doesn't see RPM, it's not going to keep the fan trigger. If you just got the key on, it may flag it as triggered, but it's not going to be triggered in the same time because that's just giving an indication to the software when it should be triggered. But it also, failsafe needs to see RPM for trigger as well. Make sure that's not the case. And, you know, if it is a case where you just flat out ain't working, it's hooked up correctly and all that, we can check that out here. That does happen every once in a blue moon. It's usually like a high amperage load situation or something funny outside of its parameters. But yeah, actually, fan trigger not actually working right, that's a fairly rare thing. It does happen. Anything can happen, but
Yep.
not exactly a weekly occurrence. Actually, it's not even a monthly occurrence.
Yep. Scott Frank says, did you answer any of the questions from last week's video? Yes, there are some that got answered towards the beginning. We probably won't answer any more. I'll just keep them as a collective and we'll get them at the beginning of the next Tech Tuesday video. But I just wanted to make sure that you didn't get missed. We did answer some. Probably the first, going top down, I don't know how many we answered, like 5, 6?
Let's see where I left off at. I don't know. I got like 3 or so from the last one. I can do a couple right quick. No big deal.
See if Scott's in there. If he's.
Where's Scott at?
Do you see Scott Franks on that? Possibly, potentially. I vaguely feel like I remember.
Franco?
No, just
No.
Scott Franks.
Steven, Mark.
There were 30 comments, so I don't know. They're maybe I'm just
Salem
seeing things.
Computer. Salem Computer. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. I don't see Scott.
Okay, that's okay.
Unless it was in the replies.
No, I just was making sure. But just as clarification, let's just go ahead and leave it be, and then we'll just jump into those at the next one, because usually on lives you don't get as many follow-up comments, so we can just pull those into the next one.
That's so true. But next one we'll go ahead and burn down the rest of these questions that we got in the previous video.
Yeah.
But also, you know, in this live thing, you know, make the suggestions. Do we try to incorporate a little bit more of the software and handheld functionality in here as you guys got these things popping up? We're happy to give you guidance, and we can arrange that.
Yeah.
That can be an arranged thing.
Yeah. Cool. we're getting close to an hour. I think we started at 2:01 your time. Oh, shoot, it's loud. Sorry.
No, it's not that loud, man. What are you talking about? So, anyways, with that, we're probably going to wrap it up here. I'm glad Ben is enjoying the show. Take care of my car. It does have insurance. It does have a big block. It's awesome. And it's running on a very special variety of a Kill Shot Fusion. So if you're at the show, you guys should go over there and ask Ben a little bit more about what's under the hood of that car and why they took my test Camaro with a prototype on it to a show for the people. But it is what it is. I'm happy it's out there. That's awesome.
Steal it.
And I'm surprised it still has tires on it and they haven't burned the thing off yet because that thing is a torque monster.
Yeah, it's really fun. We definitely stole it because it was one of those things where we said, wow. It was one of those things where we just said, yeah, we need to bring a car to some of these stops that we don't have cars at. So we're taking the Camaro. Tim was like, okay, there's something on it. So, but oh well. And that was about it.
You should have really took the C10. It's got really something on it.
It does have something on it, and I don't know. Is it everything attached to it? Do you have the bed and everything on it?
It runs and drives.
I
got the transmission hooked back up.
Why didn't we bring that? That would have been awesome.
How about this? Whenever Sick the Smokies
oh, that's right.
comes to the warehouse here, I'll make sure to put it out.
Yep. That's a great segue. Make sure to, if you're in the local area, I mean, literally, if you're Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, North Carolina, Six Smokies has a stop at Aces on Saturday. We'll be open from 10 till about 3, 4 o'clock. You can come hang out with us, get a hot dog, tour the building, meet people like Tim. I'll be there. Some of our other people that you know probably very well will be there. Some of us will be over at the track and then come back over because Brainerd is local to us. But absolutely come down, see us, hang out, ask questions, see what's under the Camaro, see what's under the C10. Oh, that's over in Chattanooga. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining us for a Live Tech Tuesday. Believe it or not, this was not like a last minute thing. Tim and I tested if this would work on Friday of last week, just making sure. But we just, I don't know. We just kind of threw it together here at the end of the day today. But yeah, we will.
It's what we do best.
Yeah, it's what we do best.
We got to stay on our toes.
Yes. I'm seeing now there's a couple more comments in here. You want to try and hit them real quick before we end up?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Just a few more.
Okay. Brian Stillwell. Ben, as I was packing for duct tape, drags a note said that I do not have an Aces backpack. Imagine how many stickers and keychains would fit in them. Let's see. Jamie Spalding, is it possible to hook up a backup camera to a 7-inch display? It is not possible. We don't have video in capabilities in that particular display. Interesting concept though, but the software we use won't really allow that because it's a whole graphic user interface. It would take a lot to actually program that into having a video input, but it would be cool. Car can't be allowed if it's the sound of your people, by the people, for the people. That's fact. That is a fact. That's why we're here. That's it. That wraps it all up. Really think about it and look at every different, avenue in between. Like that's what it's all about, man. We're car people doing car people for car people.
Yep.
Jose, let's see. Other than rescaling the map, where should I go to get ready to fire my 5.3s running a single GT45 Turbo Jackpot Pros? Well, you can fire that thing up as it is and actually go ahead and get your idle data dialed in, select all that information, tune your table, do all that. Don't put it in boost. Then go back, rescale your table so you know how much table to interpret. That way you just got an idea of it wanted 10% less fuel, but if I math it up on a basic level, I'll be able to safely reach the target for when I start to get into boost. I'm not going to go crazy rich. I'm not going to go crazy lean. I should be somewhere in the middle of the target so I can adjust accordingly. That's my approach generally, is I just don't even scale it until I decide I'm going to go and actually make a little bit of boost. Weinberg, Tim, those tech manuals are great. Thank you, William.
Great.
I've tried very hard to write those over the last year.
Yes.
It's a lot. It's a lot to do.
Can we jump
Scott
over?
Frank,
Oh, sorry. You go. You go.
Jackpot. Scott Frank's the jackpot not shutting off.
Yeah, I was gonna say. If we could go over to the old video, because he says he's Franco. I thought, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we got him, because if he's sitting here waiting, I'd like to get his question answered too.
Franco, hey fellas, my new jackpot PDM install runs when you stop the engine, continues to run for 30 to 45 seconds, even if the trigger wire is disconnected. If I unhook the battery, it shuts right off. Any thoughts? If that is the case, if it's still illuminating the switch 12-volt wires from the PDM, even if you unhook the trigger wire and those three particular lights are still illuminated, you may have a damaged IGBT transistor keeping those things triggered. It could be, some kind of flyback voltage going on there, some kind of transient voltage that damaged that. I'm assuming it was hooked up smooth and correct the first time. I've also seen some folks that they have had hooked up to an alternator, and it takes forever for it to bleed off all that excess power to get below threshold to deactivate the switch 12-volt wire. But those are the things I've seen. I would make sure, because it could just be as simple as getting a replacement for that. But if you've got a transistor failure in there, that's going to be start it up, pull the ignition wire off of the input side of that, and to make sure, see what the voltage is. If you've got a voltage meter, and see what it is. Because if it's like, okay, it's gone from 14 volts to 7 volts, 6 volts, 5 volts, 4 volts until it gets below its threshold and then turns off, it could just actually be a little bit of damaged circuitry in there. Not a big deal for warranty. As long as it's wired up correct and all that good stuff, you can just probably get a pretty easy swap with customer service. They're pretty pliable with those things. I hope it helps. Been signing autographs. Look at him. Look at him over to signing autographs. He's famous. Awesome. Well, anyways, while he's distracted, let's burn through some more of these things. Let's see, backup camera. See, Jamie, backup camera would be helpful on a 48-pound truck. It would be, but we unfortunately don't handle that. Mark Hughes, before I joined the masses, I have switched back to HEI Progressive Distributors. Yeah, I was ever figure out what the Killshot 1 and 4 to 5,000 false limiter is, or are we just in the past? That 4 to 5,000 rev limiter thing has a lot to do with fueling, dwell, and timing tables as well. On the same thing, we're working through a bunch of strategies to make sure that goes to the past as it is no more of a factor. But we've got old systems and new systems, and we're trying to recreate this problem. That really comes down to horsepower. The systems that were affected by that, I noticed it was like 400 or 500 horsepower, a lot of cylinder pressure, kind of acting like it wasn't spark out as it goes. So we made a bunch of parameter changes over the last year, and we haven't seen that resurface very much at all. I think there's only one person that could even get it to do it, and he's got a pretty spicy unit on the rollers. But that's why we're working through it. But yeah, I haven't seen that. It used to be kind of a common thing, but it's we made that change to all the background tables and dwell settings and everything, so it usually puts out as much spark as the driver allows, and lets it. If you put out more, it'll absolutely destroy the driver. That's why the Killshot Fusion actually has 2 drivers in it, so it can handle the weight, handle the load a little. A lot of the Gen 2 stuff also has that extra redundant driver, so even if one smokes itself by putting out that much extra energy, it still just falls on a backup. Marquez, will this fix the ECU? Will the Killshot 2 ECU fix this? I've tried everything to fix the shit show and come up with no answer. Still love you guys. We love you too, Mark. But I think as we do more testing, it's like I haven't seen that in Killshot 2 yet on that situation. but it doesn't mean it's not from lack of trying. So what I have to do is I got to find somebody that's running about 700 horsepower and try to test that exact thing at that power level to see if it's gone. If it's gone, it's gone. Let's see, William Burr, Ben, love the Aces flag behind you. Tim, Ben, thanks for Live Tech Tuesday. Thank you. We're trying to do the best we can and not do this for 4 hours today, but you know, a solid hour of actually getting to talk to you guys is fantastic.
Good. And we don't have these flags, but to answer Bryant, and I see also Samuel in here, backpacks you can't get them on the website. They exist, I believe. You can just go backpack and you can buy one if you want. And there's a lot of cooler new merch. So there's new hats, new shirts. Hopefully we'll have hoodies here very soon. Tumblers, or I say tumblers, a cup for your coffee. It's about to be cold, guys. Go get something to keep it warm. And then, yeah, I think that's all my merch.
Mine's tires.
Yeah, here, let me go show you what the Aces.
Oh, awesome. This will be a new product reveal here. I'm excited. Look at that thing. It's beautiful. Are those Aces headphones?
They're not. These are what I edit Tech Tuesday with normally, though. This is what it looks like. You'll get a bunch of straws, different things that you can use. I think they're cool. A lot of people around the office use them. You should get one too. I digress. Yeah. I know we're over time. I'm just trying to think. I think that's everything though. I just saw Donnie. Hey Donnie. He says have the Joker system with manifold injection. Is there a wire that can send out the temperature signal to go to the gauges, kind of like the tack out wire, so that you don't have to run another temp sensor?
Not for that, unfortunately. The only thing that sends temperatures through the CAN system, and there's no real output for that from our system, only inputs. So you will unfortunately have to run another temp sensor with that. I wish there was a cool answer for it, but that's not the thing.
Yeah, I think that's good. That should do it.
Yep.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us for Tech Tuesday live. And we love doing live things. I think this adds a little variety. That's what Tim and I talked about. You know, we were trying to come up with a way to make it more cool or professional or whatever. And Tim was like, yeah, just shoot it live at the event. It is what it is. And I think it's good. I think we should do stuff like that. Showcases what we're doing. And also it's very real. This is what you guys do all the time. Maybe not drag and drive events all the time, but they're fun and you should do them. I will definitely be doing one as soon as I have a car. But with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of Tech Tuesday. If you liked it, please leave a like down below. If you have questions about Aces fuel injection or EFI in general, feel free to leave a comment at the end of this live. Even if you left it on the previous Tech Tuesday, we will get to it in our next Tech Tuesday video. And if you know anybody that is thinking about switching to fuel injection, you can point them our direction. We'd love to help them out. But guys, thank you again so much for watching this episode of Tech Tuesday. Thank you for joining us, and we will see all of you in the next video. Bye for now.
Bye now.